And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at the end of the presentation. I'll leave questions till the end probably, and I'll just get my presentation up on the screen.
Sean, I think I need to give you an authority to share the screen. So
yes,
yeah, I think you should be able to share now.
Can you see that presentation?
Yes, yes, pretty well.
Okay. So we're based in Darwin, of course, in Australia. We're a vocational school, and our presentation really is about work and study. So there are a couple of opportunities that I'll talk about in a bit more detail. So a little bit about us. We've got over 400 students. So we're a medium-sized school here in Australia. I know the numbers of schools, students in a school there are a bit more, but we've been around for over 20 years, and we hold all the relevant government accreditations, and I'll put them on the screen in a second. And you can see on the bottom left of that screen our approval number from the Australian government, which is our CRICOS provider number, 02864B, is in the bottom left of the screen there. And that's our number. We basically focus on very much on employment outcomes for our students. Whilst we're a school and we run through normal academic processes, and the students come to school and they do theory and practical, but we've got a very practically based course. We have very good facilities, and we have very good relationships with our industry partners, the hotels, the cafes and the restaurant. And we're really committed to upskilling our students and our clients to make sure that they've got the very, very best opportunity going forward. We want students to be not only qualified and to graduate with a nice certificate at the end of their studies, but we're very focused on making sure that the students have the opportunity, in fact, to get good quality work, both here in Australia whilst they're working, and of course beyond our course when they move on to their career, and make sure that they're able to get a career anywhere in the world. This is a bit about our mission. We're a very well-respected school. You probably can't see it now, but when you saw my picture a little bit earlier, I'm sitting in one of our training rooms here. We've got lots of certificates on the wall of awards that we have achieved over the years. So I'm very proud of that. But more importantly, it's very important to be able to make sure that our students get the best education. These are some of the affiliations and accreditation and approvals we have from all of the key government agencies, industry partners, and our sector as well. So we're approved by all of those organisations. As I say, our government approval is the bottom left, the CRICOS number. We are regulated, we are audited, and we are very keen to maintain our very, very, very high standards. All right, bit of geography. I'm assuming that you all know where Darwin is, but here's a bit of geography based on a more direct map. So this is a list of the flights that were available pre-COVID. Of course, the world's gone mad with COVID, but there was really good connections into Asia and into Singapore, and as far as you're concerned, good connections for flights were available through Singapore and whatever. But the world has gone mad, but we're in flying time. We're about 4.5 hours flying time from Sydney, and we're about 4 hours flying time to Singapore. So we are closer by aeroplane to Singapore than we are to Sydney. All right, and again, we are the very most northern capital city in Australia. Mingmar has been here, and we've met together here in Darwin a couple of years ago at a conference. So he's got very good first-hand knowledge of of the city here and the lifestyle and schools and those sorts of things. But Darwin is a small, modern, tropical city is the way I describe it. It's the very northernmost part of Australia as far as capital cities are concerned. It's warm all year round. So whilst I own puffer jackets like you are wearing in that room there up in Nepal, mine stays in the wardrobe for all of the year except when I go overseas or into the southern part of Australia, which has a winter. This is just an aerial view of the city of Darwin. It's a very beautiful city. It's well laid out. It's quite small, as you can see. Unlike Kathmandu, has no traffic to speak of. There's no traffic jams. There is no pollution. Everything's clean and bright and sunny. And it's a very, very easy, safe, modern place to live. So what are the key opportunities in Darwin? Of course, quality education is a very important factor. As I said to you earlier, we're approved by our government, but beyond that, we've got a very good reputation here. We've won lots of awards for our work. We're recognised better by our industry peers, and that's really important for us and our relationship through the employment opportunities that we have actually matched up to the education program. Flights into Darwin are resuming, so the world is getting more normal. And just on that briefly, and I can come back to this if you like, but the borders into Australia open on the 15th of December, and into Darwin they reopen on the 20th of December. So that means that people who fulfill the new criteria to come in, you must have a student visa, of course. You'll have to test negative for COVID just prior to getting on the plane. You'll have to be double vaccinated by an approved vaccine, and you'll be able to jump on a plane, come to Darwin and not quarantine, which is a big step forward. So you might have some specific questions around that, and I'd be happy to answer them at the end. All right, we do most of our education is in the hospitality and tourism area. We teach in that area because that's where a lot of the labour market demand is. There's lots of work for our students and other people, Australians and others, to work in Darwin whilst they study. So it's a tremendous opportunity. I think the big cities in Australia like Sydney and Melbourne, which everybody's heard of and perhaps some are attracted to be absolutely honest with you, the opportunity is well and truly gone in those cities. Because if you're interested in coming and learning and studying and working and then getting a post-study visa pathway, like if you want to stay in Australia, and I can give you advice on that because I'm a registered migration agent, so I'm licensed to give migration advice as well. And we set up our program to be tailor-made to give students the best opportunity to stay in Darwin post-study. Those opportunities are not available in other parts of Australia. I put up there, develop your English skills. Of course, you can all speak English. You're all multilingual, which I'm not. I'm the worst of the worst. I only speak English. But it's really important that you do develop your English skills either before you come and certainly when you come to Australia. And that's going to help you get a post-study visa where your English may be required to be at a higher level to get another visa. All right, so charter flights pre-Christmas announcement, that's sort of been bypassed now because the government has since made the announcement that the borders will be open, so there'll be regular scheduled flights, and there should be no real impediments if you meet those criteria about coming into Darwin. Okay, a bit of a snapshot here about the hospitality industry. Again, Darwin's a small city, so you've got to keep these numbers in mind, but there is strong employment opportunities. Our program matches the demands of the labour market, so we have a program that suits the students to be able to come to school and learn, and they can also work part-time throughout their studies. And the areas that we teach in are always in demand. And a couple of statistics around unemployment rates, but there is a saying in Darwin that if you're unemployed, you're basically incapable of getting work. There is another saying in Darwin that if you are warm and you have a pulse going through your body and you're breathing, you must be able to get a job. So it's very easy to get a job here in Darwin, and our students get good skills, so they are job ready and able to take advantage of the opportunity in the labour market. Here's some more statistics. What does that mean? These are from the middle of this year. But a year-on-year change for job vacancies. So you'll see there, Northern Territory, NT, 46.8%. And that is a huge increase in jobs available, right? So this is jobs available for you to work in when you come here as a student. There's been a 46.8% growth in the opportunities for people to take up jobs. So that is just mind-blowing, right? It is a huge statistic, and it means that people can really make sure that they can get some work of their choice. Right, these are the programs that we offer. There's a dozen or so courses there, depending on what sort of industry you're interested in or what your background might be. There are opportunities for everybody. In Australia, Certificate 3 is what we call the trade level. So that's when you're deemed to be like a qualified tradesman, regardless of your industry. So Certificate 3 level. So that's a really important one. And yeah, you can do a Certificate 4 or Diploma, Advanced Diploma, depending on which stream you want to go in. So it depends on your interest, depends on your background. You might have experience, but the hospitality program is basically a front of house, bar, restaurant, food and beverage type program. We don't really do front desk and housekeeping. And the reason for that is just because the jobs are available in food and beverage and hotels and service. There are not as many jobs available on front desk or in housekeeping. So that's the reason we do that. Commercial cookery, if you want to be a cook or a chef, then that's a stream you would do. And if you're interested in baking, learning how to bake bread and make donuts and cakes and pastries and those sorts of things. And business is generic business type programs. There are no post-study visa pathways from the business programs. Okay, so that might be an important consideration for you, but there certainly are in the hospitality stream, in the cookery stream, and in the bakery stream, there are post-study visa pathways for you if you want to stay in Australia. The next few slides, I have, I'm going to whiz through a couple of these just as examples. They're all pretty much the same. But here's the hospitality management stream as a sample. If you're going to apply for a visa, you should apply for a visa for 2 years rather than 1 year. Why? Because if you want to stay in Australia, if you want to stay in Darwin, you'll need to have completed 2 years of study here in Darwin. So that's one of the post-study work visa criteria. So you need to do 2 years. And it also gives you flexibility. So using this example, you'll do Certificate 4 in hospitality over year 1, and then in year 2, you have a choice of the diploma or the advanced diploma. In the cookery stream, similar sort of course structure. Year 1, you'll do Certificate 3 in cookery, and year 2, Certificate 4. Bakeries, again, the same, Certificate 3 in year 1 and Certificate 4 in year 2. So I won't go through them all, but that's the basic structure. Now, the course breakdown. So this is a really, really important slide. This slide makes our school different. So we have devised a program that suits the needs of our students so they can get through the course. It suits our needs as a school, and of course it suits the needs of our industry partners, the cafes, the restaurants, the hotels, and those sorts of employers. So each year has 2 semesters.
Sean?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you just press the slideshow button? I think that will make it slightly bigger.
Yeah, sorry.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. So yes, so this is an important slide. Hopefully you could hear me there. So we have 2 semesters a year. We have 4 intakes a year. So 2 semesters a year. So regardless of when you start, you have 2 semesters. So semester 1, the study mode is theory and practical. So you come to school, the place of study is in the classroom. So you come to school, and in semester 1, your maximum working hours is 20 hours per week. Now that's set by the Australian government. So it's not set by us, it's set by the Australian government. Semester 2, so the second half of your year, your study mode is industry placement, is what we call it. Your place of study is the workplace. So you go to the hotel, you go to the cafe, you go to the restaurant. You don't come to school. And your maximum working hours are 45 hours per week. So we are the only school in Australia that has this as a component of our course, where we are working in a labour market where there is strong demand for workers. So you're allowed in semester 2 to work up to 45 hours per week. Okay, so you basically work full time. My professional background prior to running the school was I was a hotel guy. I used to work in management in hotels. So I know what the hotels expect, and they want people to be able to put into practice the skills they've learned at school. So that's really important, and it's a significant component of the course. So you'll be paid for that, and you'll be paid at normal Australian wages. Post-study, there's a pathway here, and here's an example again of different ways that you can come through. So there's various options, and we can talk to you about that once you come here to make sure you've got the right sort of option. But depending on what stream you do, you have different options to be able to work through programs, even in commercial cookery or in the front of house diploma. So you can mix and match a little bit, but we have some recommendations to help you get through the best pathway. All right, study and working. So working, now these are approximate exchange rates. So I don't know what your exchange rate there is today, but because we prepared this slide a little while ago. But when you work in a hotel here, if you work as a kitchen hand, as a cook, as a waiter, as a waitress, barista, front desk, all of these sort of entry-level roles, you will get between 25 and 30 Australian dollars per hour, right? 25 to 30 Australian dollars per hour. So I don't know whether those exchange rates are close there, but what I do know, having been to Nepal many times, is that it is significantly more than you'll be paid for doing that work in Nepal. And in fact, it's actually pretty much the highest rate in the world. Okay, it's higher than the US, it's higher than the UK, it's higher than Canada. So it is good money. So that's for entry level. So students, when they start the jobs, they'll be paid those sort of rates. When you work, you're sort of like on a paid work trial where you'll be given the opportunity to do your job, cooking food, serving food, making coffee, whatever it might be. And if your employer likes you, then they may be able to offer you a sponsorship at the end of your studies and put you on the pathway to staying in Australia. There are work visas available for temporary and permanent work visas as a pathway out of our courses. Fees, all right, all of our fees are on the internet. So I'll just put up a couple of these so I don't take up too much of your time, but these are all in Australian dollars. So certificate 4 in year 1 is 14,000 is the tuition fee. And then second year, if you do the diploma, for example, it's 14,000 Australian dollars for the year. Now that's a lot of money compared to where you're from and probably what you're used to, but we have a payment plan, so you don't have to pay all of that money up front. We have a payment plan where you can schedule the payments throughout the course of the year. And you have to remember that you will be working, right? So when you come to Australia and you start the course, you're allowed to work, and you'll be working in a hotel or a cafe or something similar, and you'll be earning the sort of money that I put up in the previous slide. So these course fees are very affordable, and will we have lots and lots of students who are doing exactly what I've outlined, so I know it works. So whilst it seems like a lot of money, obviously you do need some money before you come, but once you come, you'll be able to work through these fee payments, no problem at all. On the right-hand box there, there are fees there for medical insurance. So overseas student health cover is medical insurance, and every foreign person into Australia needs to have medical insurance. So those are approximate costs. We don't provide the insurance because we're not an insurance company. We just pass that on to the students. All right, similar sort of fees for our commercial cookery program and for our bakery program. So it depends on your stream. Our business programs are cheaper, but again, just as a reminder, there are no pathways. You're welcome to come and study business, but there are no pathways into permanent visas from the program. All right, so we need to be paid a deposit of $1,500 to issue what's called a COE. A COE is a confirmation of enrolment, and that's what Guardian will sort out for you. They will do all the paperwork for you. We can work out a payment plan for you. We've had some promotions running recently. So that's Darwin International Airport, so it's quite different to the airport in Kathmandu. We can assist you with accommodation. We can help you find accommodation. You might have friends or family, or you might want to connect with the Nepalese community here. We have an orientation week to settle students in, so we give them all of the information you need to know about living in Darwin. We get you set up with bank accounts and some other things that you'll need here when you go and work. So we do all that during week 1, week 2 your classes start. This is a bit of an indication here of accommodation pricing. We do not provide accommodation, so the school does not. We do not have a hostel or anything like that. All of our students go to private accommodation. Uni Lodge, that photo on the right-hand side, is a purpose-built student accommodation that's available here in Darwin. But again, it's not us, it's run by a third-party company. So these are indicative approximate prices. Depends on where you want to live and how you want to live, and the standard of accommodation and the city location. Same as Kathmandu, depending on where you live, will be more expensive or cheaper, and also the style of accommodation. Again, these prices are in Australian dollars. They are more than you're used to there, but you'll be earning Australian dollars for your salary, so they're very, very affordable. The bottom one there, Australian Homestay, is basically where you go and be hosted by an Australian family. It's a structured program, and you pay the money direct to the Australian family. All right, here's a sample of some of our students. We've got students, despite being a relatively small school, we've got a real diversity of nationalities. We've got quite a few Nepalese students who've had over the years, but it's very multicultural, and I think that's a very good thing. We try to get as many different students from different countries as possible, because I think the diversity actually adds value to our program. I'm sure you'll get first-class advice from Guardian there, but we give this advice anyway. Whether you choose to come to our school today, or you might come in 6 months or 12 months, or go to another school, whatever you decide to do, you should develop a plan for your education, right? Hope is not a plan. Hope is not a plan. So it's really important that you develop a plan, you write a plan down, and you take responsibility for it. We can only provide half the opportunity here. As I say to my staff and our students when they come, we provide 50% of the opportunity, and our students provide the other 50%. We provide the classes, we provide the expertise, we provide the equipment, then it's up to the students to come in and come to class and study hard and learn the skills, and that's their 50% contribution. We only partner up with good quality hotels and restaurants, so we don't partner up with non-reputable organisations, because that's not good for our student. We want to make sure, in fact, we sign an agreement with our partner hotels and restaurants to make sure that they are good and reputable. Our programs here at ICAE are certainly pathways to employment in Australia. They are pathways to long-term visas in Australia. And as I said before, I'm a licensed migration agent, so I know this is the case because we process visas for our students post-study, and we get them sponsors and we get them placed into good future opportunities. Get good advice. As I said, you'll get good advice from Guardian. We'll give you good advice as well. And the final thing there is none of this happens by chance. To make it happen, you've got to work hard. And when you work hard, that you'll be rewarded. You will get a good education. You will change your life, and you may change the life of your family as well. This is one of the key features, which is why I put it up for a second slide. We're the only school in Australia that gives you an opportunity to work 45 hours in semester 2. It's an integral part of our course. We want our students to get the best opportunity. Your working time in semester 2 has got to be related to the course because it's part of the course. And we want to make sure that students are really putting into practice their skills and knowledge they learn in semester 1. And really, that's my presentation. Thanks very much. Nice to meet you all. Enjoy the cold weather. I wouldn't mind a bit of cold weather at the moment. Just be a nice break from the warmth here. It gets pretty hot here from time to time. But all right, so I will go then. I'll leave you to it. Thank you everyone again. Thanks Mingmar. And all the best. And hopefully I'll see you in Kathmandu soon, or maybe down here in Darwin soon. Thanks very much. See you. Bye.